Hello and welcome to Barwells Solicitors Let's Talk Law, the podcast where we break down the legal topics which matter most to you. I'm Greg Hall, and in today's episode we'll be discussing legal issues concerning pets. I'm joined today by Barwells Litigation Solicitor Holley Henden, and we also have a special guest with us, Matthew Withers, a barrister from 1 Crown Office Row in Brighton. Welcome to you both. To begin with, Holley, can I ask about the different areas the litigation department cover?
Of course. So we deal with a vast range of different civil disputes. So the way I normally describe it easiest to people is people essentially arguing with each other. So it might be landlord-tenant disputes, it might be neighbour disputes, property disputes, debt collection, but also we sometimes get some more unusual matters, and we're quite happy to help with those as well.
Can you tell me a little bit more about why we're discussing pets today?
Of course. So from a more personal standpoint, it's something I'm quite interested in as I myself am a pet owner. So more recently when we had a client who instructed us to deal with a matter to try and recover her pet tortoises, that unfortunately she was put in a situation she had to rehome them through an organisation. So with that, we were working hard to try and establish whether there was a strong legal basis there to potentially look to issue a claim. And with that, we looked at areas such as breach of contract, if there was any negligence on the part of the organisation, and then once we sort of explored a few different avenues, we then looked to instruct Matthew to delve deeper with his expertise.
Matthew, how does the law protect such matters regarding pets?
So there are, I suppose, two areas that the law deals with in relation to pets and animals. So one of them is in terms of protecting animals, and that's in the Animal Welfare Act, and that relates to it being a criminal offence to cause animals harm or permit suffering to animals. That kind of matter isn't something that we're discussing today. That's dealt with by the police or the RSPCA, kind of protecting animals and bringing prosecutions. What we're talking about and the way the law treats animals is where there are private disputes between individuals about their pets. And how the law treats animals in those situations is this. It doesn't differentiate between an animal, a pet, or a pen or a sofa or a TV or a mug. They are considered in English property law as what are called chattels, so an item of personal property, which is unfortunate because for the vast majority of pet owners, they don't consider their dog or cat or lizard or snake or guinea pig to be the same as their sofa. But that is how the law approaches it at the moment.
Holley, how do you manage clients' expectations when unfortunately there isn't a strong legal basis?
Yeah, so that's quite a large part of my job, and ultimately my main job is to advise clients on what their options are and the likely success of those routes as well. So I'm also always mindful of the client's ultimate goal throughout, and to make sure we're on the best track possible to get there. It's also really important, I think, to bear in mind the client's personal budget as well, as it can be very daunting to go through the litigation process. And so it's important that we're always very transparent throughout the process what the options are, so they're well informed, and also trying to look at alternative dispute resolution rather than going directly through the court process all the time, and trying to negotiate, whether that's through discussions with us and the other party, or if it's a formal mediation setting. I also like to think I'm quite approachable too, and I think the relationship with the client is important, and being on the same page so you can have these open, honest discussions with them.
Thank you. Matthew, are there any plans or suggestions that the law will at some point be amended better to protect pets in these types of situations?
I think so, and I hope so. I think society certainly recognises pets as more important than a pen or a sofa, and although the law often is slow to catch up with societal views, there are a couple of ways that there are calls for reform. One of those is in relation to landlord and tenant involvement. So in the Renters Reform Bill, which is a piece of legislation which is currently going through Parliament, which will change a number of things in relation to rental property. One of the things contained within that draft bill at the moment is a removal of a blanket restriction by landlords to ban renters from having pets in rented property. So that's a change which may well be coming down the track. There's also a number of calls for reform for the way pets are treated on both divorce and separation of unmarried couples. As I said earlier, pets generally are treated like a piece of property as other assets are. But there is a group that's working to reform that and try and change the law. The judges are taking notice of that, and there was a recent divorce case in the English courts where they considered wider issues of who had been caring for the animal more to decide who it should live with on divorce. But that hasn't been formally changed yet. That's in England. I think generally the world is changing as well. I know in other common law jurisdictions, so Ireland, for example, there's a campaign to do a similar thing. And in Australia, on the 10th of June 2025, a new law came in where exactly that will be mandated. So pets will be treated not just as personal property in separating families, but more akin to arrangements for their kind of welfare of the animal as well. So there are changes, and I hope on the horizon here as well.
Thank you for that, and thank you to both of you for joining me today and sharing your legal insights with us. At Barwells Solicitors, we take on a wide range of civil litigation matters, and we can offer a no-obligation fixed fee appointment. If you'd like to know more about the services we offer, please visit our website at www.barwells.com. If you've enjoyed our video today, please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any future episodes. Until next time, goodbye for now.